The people who are here with us in this podcast, y'all on that level. Y'all think differently. You just throw up a gang sign?
No, this is a peace sign, and then this. Not unless there's like a duck.
Oh, that was like next level. That was the elevator.
I don't know.
I got you. I got you. Word.
I'd be in trouble.
I was pointing to the noggin. Hopefully that didn't look too much like anything, but I was pointing to the noggin, and you start.
Don't use 2 fingers. Use one.
Use one finger.
Yeah.
I got you. Yo, this is official now. I can't move a lot. I'm wearing this really waxy jacket, but
that's true.
So, this is our first official Kickphase podcast, and you guys are actually joining us in the writer's room. So this is like our writing process. We are in the process of making this film. We really talked a lot about kind of detailing our journey, kind of making this film and going back and reviewing it so people could get an experience of that. And then we thought, like, why not, like, invite you guys into the writer's room while we're doing it? So that's what's going on right now. We are in the process of writing. This is actually, like, we haven't even started writing the script. We are very much in the world-building stage and outlining and breaking the story. This film doesn't even have a title yet. That's how early you guys are jumping into this journey. So just to introduce ourselves, I'm Jonathan Kemp.
I'm Matthew Walker.
Dang,
and
can I introduce myself a little more?
My bad.
Before you jump in? I'm just kidding. So I'm Jonathan Kemp. I'm a writer, director. I don't want to say cinematographer because I don't really feel like I do that on the side, but I don't really feel like I'm a cinematographer.
I feel like you could claim it though, but
I'm a writer and director.
All right.
We're gonna leave it there. And I'm also the founder of Kickphase Studios. And that's who I am. That's what I'm about. This my main man. Couldn't do it without him. You know, do your thing, G.
I'm Matthew Walker. I am the producer and co-writer of this film.
Real talk, at this point, he's practically a co-founder of Kickphase as well. I feel like we can give him that title because, like, that's real talk. None of it would have been possible without him. That's what he does. And
So right now we're building the family tree of the Cookout film because we're trying to understand, like, who these characters are.
There's so many moving characters in this part, which is funny because we were like, yo, let's come up with a really simple film to be our first feature in. And we said if we make it all one location, one event, it's just going to take place in the backyard of this cookout, be really simple, and now we're looking at a family tree with 30-plus characters.
Yeah.
So it's like it was simple in one regard just to get very complicated in another. There's actually a lot of these out here where you can just build your family tree. So we're using like an official family tree website and building out our fake family.
Yeah.
And just to tell you how in-depth we've kind of gotten with this, from birth dates, interests, occupations, and it's kind of working as like a whole character bio card for each of our characters while also showing like the connections they are to each other and who they are. Like we already had kind of a base idea of who our characters were, and then once we moved them into here, each one just expanded so much because once they were asking for certain information or we saw certain connections, it just really helped us like dig deeper.
Exactly.
And that's what we're building out right now, just trying to see how everyone kind of relates, where everyone came from, and just really even going so deep to build their characters out and their stories. And I think that's something that's often overlooked. I feel like a lot of people, we were just talking to Evan about this, but a lot of people just sit down and write. And there's so much that goes into like building who these characters are and just that world building and world building that you never see. So we've already done so much world building that we think is so just pivotal to who these characters are and what's going on. However, when they watch this film, there's so much that won't even be portrayed on screen, but it's like portrayed. It is, but like
Slightly.
It's not. Yeah, it's not really that direct.
Exactly.
It's very covert.
And you know what? I guess the thing about it, just to talk about like what we came off of out of the blocks, the fact that for some actors, you talked about how like they're in the moment of that film and not thinking about like what their whole backstory is or like what is.
Yeah, exactly. So in our experience, we've worked with a lot of actors who don't see past the script. They're playing these moments and these events, but they don't take into account what happened before. Mm-hmm. And when you tell someone, such as we can give them a piece of information that's never prevalent in the story, however, as acting and how you approach a situation and how you react to it, it does. So we're giving these pieces of information that really change how a character will move and react, but because it's not necessarily important to, I don't want to say important because it is, but it doesn't directly affect the plot in that moment.
Yep.
That they kind of don't always necessarily look to that. And I think a lot of even writers and directors don't take that into account. So they don't build that backstory for their actors to really jump on.
Yeah.
And I think that hurts performances, it hurts writing, it hurts storytelling. And I think that's what we're trying to avoid, to make all these characters really dimensional.
Yeah, exactly. Make them feel real.
And I think that even goes to, I've seen a lot of directors kind of downplay parts and roles. As in, oh, you're just and I've done this myself, and it's something I've learned to kind of overcome, but you're just the extra who does this, or you're just the, you're the supporting character. I talk to every character like they're the main character. And once I started doing that, the performances I got exponentially better. And it's funny because I'll completely forget about everyone else. And I'm like, who cares about her? Like, we're talking about you. Like, I don't care how you affect her. Let's talk about how she's affecting your life. Like, and it's really approaching it of making all these people view themselves as who is the most important. So by having all this backstory and figuring out these characters to a T really helps you create that where they have more than just what's in the script to play off of.
Yeah. Oh, because I was about to say, like, when you talked about, like, this extras and supporting characters, for the most part, I think I've heard some people talk about how they didn't feel like they were important and how they were playing a small role, so they didn't feel like they had to come at it as much, or like,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They just felt like they were that person or that small person in the film, and you're not going to really see them anyway. You giving them those backstories and everything like that and making them feel important, it's just like, it makes them feel good at the end of the day, and also just like it builds a better story for the film in general.
I don't know how they really took this, but when we did Out of the Blocks, we kind of cast it. We didn't really send the script out. I don't think anyone knew who the main character was until they got the script, because we had been working with them for so long beforehand and building those characters and those stories. in a nice way, I feel like we kind of upsold it. Like, I don't want to be like it was distrustful or anything, because it wasn't. And it helped them approach their characters that much better and get involved. And like I don't think they viewed it as, when they read the script, they looked at it and said, oh, wow, my part's actually kind of small.
Yeah.
It was like they looked at it, and this was also a television series, so they could look at it for like further expansion, but they looked at their characters and they said, wow, I have these 2 lines, but I see the potential. Like, I see, like, my character's dope. Like, and they approached those 2 lines so differently, because everyone went in with this mindset of like, I'm the main character. I have all this backstory. I have all this like spunk. I have all this character built in behind me. So I feel like that's what we're looking to do even further. That project taught us a lot about kind of building character and
building character, and now building world.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just like, I think with each project that we do, the more we go more into the world and what it's supposed to look like, because before, I think you already mentioned it, but that we used to just jump into a project and be like, all right.
Yeah, we just start writing. Like, it's like, all right, that's the idea, let's write. And now it's like there's so much outlining and just pre-planning. And we were just talking about this earlier, but writing, to me, is the most difficult part of filmmaking. Yeah. I feel like once you, I don't want people are probably going to rag on me for saying this, but I feel like once you have a script, the rest is easy. Or at least, obviously, things always go wrong on a film set, and you just kind of got to roll with the punches and get it done. At this point, we're used to taking that sort of punishment.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, as a boxer, like, you train, and you're like, I have the endurance. I can make it to round 10, you know? But I don't know. It's like once you're in the ring, you got to finish the fight. It's kind of like you stepping into the ring and getting that training and preparation. That's the hardest part. Once you're in the ring, it's like you're not going to run from it no matter what gets thrown at you.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You know, you either you're getting knocked out or you're going to make it, the bell's going to ring and it's going to end.
Exactly.
So it's like, I feel like that's kind of where we are with writing, where it is that training and the fact of you saying, all right, we're going to do it. We're going to prep right. We're going to do all those things is the hardest part. Once you're in the ring, it's like, it don't matter what you're throwing. We're going through no matter what. So
exactly. Because it's like, it all starts with a good story. If you don't have a good sellable story also, it ain't going nowhere.
100. So yeah, here we are in the writing process, prepping for that boxing fight. And I think, once we get here through this, I don't want to say it's easy, but it won't be easy.
If Paulette listens to this, it's so cringe.
She's one of our favorite producers and filmmakers. I used to say things are easy all the time. And she'd be like, Kemp, don't say it's easy. It ain't about to be easy. She used to get on me.
Yeah, no. She was upset.
But yeah, no. So I won't say easy. It's still going to be a challenge. Filmmaking is always a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Truly the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Obviously, I get so much joy from it, but I think it is a misconception that it's easy because it's like every film we've ever made, I've wanted to quit. Like, it truly is like, I don't think you can make a film and not hit multiple times and points where you want to quit. It's hard. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
You always want to walk away from it. So
I feel like this is bad to say as a producer, but like I remember being on sets in my freshman year and being like, dang, I hope it just fails. I hope we don't get this location. But
so you have an excuse or an out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, and I think that's why you need a good support system around you because I think there's moments where you're going to have that, like
you're going to hit a wall. It's like boxing. You hit a wall.
Yeah. And you need other people on set who aren't at the same time as you. Or even having people who you lean on because like we could all be thinking it and we could all know we're thinking it, but at the end of the day I'm like, dang, I can't let Matt down. I got to keep moving. So it's like, it really is all support system, and I don't think it's something you can go at alone. And I don't think, I think it really is a misconception that filmmaking is something you just do. And I've seen a lot of filmmakers start and quit because of how hard it is. And because I think a lot of people look at our job really fun and artsy and just kind of this job that's not necessarily your normal 9 to 5. And because of that, I think people view it as easier. And it's going to be this easy just ride and that it's living a dream life. And it really is some of the hardest work. It's just, it's stressful. It beats on you. It's tough.
Yeah. It keeps you up at night, but like it's like a marriage. I've never been in a marriage before, but sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. But you gotta keep saying you love it. But I think this is one of the good things about our group is the fact that like we do have a support system, and that you can keep depending on other people to help you out.
So yeah, we say all that to say writing is tough. Writing is once we get past this writing, I think, like I said, You got to get through the boxing match. So here we are. We're putting our preparation in. And we are in the process of figuring out a lot of dynamics, the story. Obviously, we picked an interesting concept with time travel. You know how interesting and confusing time travel could be.
Very
so
true.
Even finding out all those dynamics and coming up with the rules and a lot of like drawing out multiple timelines to see where everything fits. It's a lot of puzzle pieces going on right now. But once we lay that track,
it'll be there.
Good. Yeah, so let's just jump in. Here we are trying to build out more characters. So you guys are also jumping in the middle of story development, meaning we may start talking about some things that are already developed or already have been discussed, or we may even refer to names or things that you're like, where did that just come from? So if you find yourself getting a little lost or we're talking about something that you necessarily didn't hear, it's because it happened in previous conversations. So if you get a little confused, don't get too stressed out. This is just us creatively just talking, and you're just kind of listening on it. Just try your best to hang in there and keep up. And yeah. So just looking at our characters, how this family tree works is we have 2 grandparents that everyone kind of stems from. You have June Kersey and Lawrence Taylor. June Kersey is our grandmother. She kind of left Lawrence after having 3 kids, so most of the family spans out from their 3 kids. We have their kids, who are Helena Coleman. Her last name changed because she married. We have our second aunt, who is unnamed. She's still a Taylor. And then we have their son, Clyde Taylor, who is also married. Aunt 2 will be single in this. And then you have, while Lawrence is kind of the grandfather and the father of all these kids and just, the male figure that a lot of these family members stemmed from, he wasn't necessarily the greatest husband, so he's not really involved in the family. And then you'll have June, our grandmother, her brother named Greg, who's about the same age as her, who we also have some kids stemming from. So most of this family is pretty much everyone kind of comes from June. June is kind of the connective tissue, that grandmother. I think like most of our family, she's that one who kind of brings everyone together and keeps them together. And we're seeing her side of the family. Yeah. And pretty much all her connections. At this point in our story, we've kind of figured out June's character and her backstory. Let's jump over to our caretaker. Yeah, we know we want a caretaker character who's taking care of Lawrence because he's no longer a member of June's household. Yeah. And he is older. He can't really take care of himself. This caretaker character is dope because they're a bit of a wild card that we can kind of do anything with. Yeah. Because they're outside of the family and they're coming in, and we can use this as kind of a magnifying glass to the family's issues.
Oh, yeah, very true. An outsider.
Because when you think about it, the family's not really going to point out necessarily these issues to each other. Yeah. So having this one character kind of gives us that insight of like, yeah, yo, that's kind of messed up what you guys are doing. And they're like, wait, really? Is it? Yeah. So we have this wild card character. They can be white, black, Hispanic, male. It can be female. It literally just whatever we want. German. It's just like, it really is that one fun character we can like kind of have a blast with and just throw something weird into the mix. Yeah. Being an independent small film, we're trying to be smart. And we do have 20. We tried to limit ourselves once we got to our family tree. We're like, all right, we have a lot of characters. No matter what, let's not go over 25 or something. Yeah. Which is still, let's be honest, for an independent film, way too much. But so at first I was trying to think, like maybe cast it more so on good actors we already know that we can kind of throw into this role and see how they could shake things up.
That's actually true.
So
interesting.
That's an option. Okay. The second option would be to just,
explore.
Yeah, explore. Go out there, make a character, and just try to cast it. Yeah. It's a little tougher on us because it is, being in that independent realm, you want to write what you know and what you have access to. Yep. But this could also be a chance to expand our circle with something even.
Add a little bit of flavor to the whole thing.
We came up with a few jokes that we weren't sure if we were going to use or not, but just based off of what we've come up with Lawrence's character and him being this stubborn old man, that you need someone who's going to really rival that and kind of give you a lot of just back and forth between those two people. Yeah. So we talked about just you being an old man, like, and having a caretaker. What kind of puts you in your place or humbles you or causes those issues? And at first you're like, we know he has a wife that at the time he wasn't too respectful to. Yeah. So to have kind of that woman character that finally like you kind of are forced to submit to would be interesting. But then as well as like we were talking about coming from a time where obviously we're in a place where we're talking a lot about toxic masculinity just in today's culture and things like that. That you have this character who was born in the 1940s, African American, is kind of coming from where a lot of that stuff starts and comes from. Yeah. And it's kind of, even in today's time,
at its highest point,
even put him in kind of the care of a man, and how does a stubborn old man from, the 1940s, who was born in the 40s, respond to a man kind of wiping his ass.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
it would be funny if it was a girl, but if you think about it, first of all, he's a nurse.
Yeah.
And in the 1940s, it's not really seen as a masculine job for a man. So that already offsets Lawrence too.
It does.
Yeah.
We also say he's a little out of it. So it's like there's moments, fleeting moments where he does have a grasp on reality, and to see him have that grasp when there's a man there taking care of you, and that's when it comes out of like, yeah, he's a little psycho, and then he's talking to somebody and he's like, that man tried to get in the shower with me. It's still it's a little craziness still there. And then I was even thinking, even to take that character further of how you wanted them interacting. Like if we went the male route, maybe he's trying to hit on Benji's Janelle, Benji's sister or something like. And she could even be throwing shots at him where maybe the whole family is against them. Like, you got the granddad, hey, you cleaning up after me. And then you got the other people who are like, you trying to holler at her and you cleaning up after her granddad. Like everyone's just kind of throwing shots his way as he's trying to make a move. And even she's kind of like, you see my granddad naked? I don't know how you feel about that. And then it's just like, he's over here, just to give him another kind of goal and thing to kind of participate in. But like I said, that really is a wild card where we can go anywhere with. And I think that I feel like that character may give us the most trouble as far as deciding, because I feel like we have so many ideas.
Exactly. That's true. So I guess one thing, what do you think about, she needs a name. This aunt needs with prison Kersey. That aunt, I don't know what her name is, but I'm gonna call her Sharon for right now. But Sharon, who's with Cassie.
Prison?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the aunt that who's with them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She has a white partner.
She does.
Yeah. So it's like she could be a magnifying glass unless she's just. I guess she could be used to that. If she's with.
No, I think she could be a magnifying glass,
but
as well as, yeah. See, we so many of these characters still aren't even named. Like, you guys are really in the early process, but we just have him as Prison. That's it. That's his name right now because he's fresh out of prison, off like a 2-year sentence. But your storyline here is we have prison. I don't know what to call him. But and then you have he's in a relationship with the woman who's also not named. So while he's in prison, his girl, and they're in a relationship, they've been dating for 2 years. They're not necessarily married or anything like that. She starts to bring around friends in quotation marks, and the whole family kind of refers to it where they're like, she'll come enter, and she's a lesbian, or she's bisexual, my bad. So she'll bring women over, she'll be like, this is my friend, and they're like, your friend, yeah. And that's kind of how the family kind of reacting to it. But he's come out of prison, and weird things are going on where he's like, oh yeah, I'm not really in the house right now. Her friend's staying there, and she didn't really feel comfortable with me staying there, so I'm out the house for just 3 weeks while I get back on my feet. And then once she moves out, and they're like, so her friend is staying in the house. So it's like a bunch of like, she's starting this relationship right under his nose, and he's the only one at the party who doesn't realize it.
Exactly, he doesn't get the joke.
But yeah, so the woman she's seeing is white, so she could also play that role as a magnifying glass of like, she is this outsider. However, I think that's interesting because obviously it's not the same discrimination or anything like that at all.
Yeah.
But I think people who are part of that community, they may not view the difference as much as a straight.
Got you.
Straight white person, just because you understand a sort of a discrimination and not being accepted and things like that as well. Like you kind of you understand that world.
Got you.
Obviously, both sides are completely different in what they face and things like that. I'm not necessarily grouping them 100% together, but I'm just saying that you are a little bit more open.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You are more open. Like, it's just, you know. And, yeah, most of the time, those are the people who you see fighting for us as well.
Yeah,
you know? So it's just like.
That's true.
So she is a magnifying glass, but at the same time, she's probably more accepted into the party and just things like that. So she's also an interesting character I think we have as well.
Sure.
That's dope. So yeah, we have those two characters who can kind of come in and be just, they're different. They're the only people who aren't necessarily directly involved with this family in some sort of way.
Exactly.
I believe those are the only two. Let me kind of look through our list. We do have.
There's the ex, or
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So we have Marcellus, who has an ex he had a child with, but then he's also with another woman who he's had a child with now, and they're together, so they're probably married. And I don't know if they're married or not yet. I guess we haven't really figured that out.
Yeah,
because I mean, there could even. I think it would be better if they weren't married.
Oh, I got you.
Because then there's when you gonna put a ring on that, or maybe you should put a ring on the ex.
Oh,
the story is that the ex is the better
half.
Necessarily the better. She's better at being what this family would consider to be a good spouse. So she's the better mother. She's the better just caretaker and comforter and things like that. And the other woman doesn't necessarily know how to cook, doesn't know how to do this, doesn't really have a job, I don't know, she's just kind of coasting and she's not doing anything.
Yeah, she's
while this other
free-spirited.
woman is very much, she takes care of herself, she has a job, she knows how to handle kids, she knows how, I mean, she's just all around like that woman.
Yeah, exactly.
And it may be interesting, because they're always questioning him of why he's not with her. And we want to give her a really crazy trait.
Yep.
Where it's like everyone at the party is like, why aren't you with her? It probably won't be this crazy, but because she shot me, and it's just like everyone's like, okay, like he's the only one who's looking at it like that's an issue. Yeah. But if you leave them unmarried, it's like you can go back. So
that's a good one, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I don't mean to. I said, it is.
It is.
I don't mean to pat myself on the back. That's not what I was trying to do. But yeah, no. See, we're coming up with ideas on the pod. y'all are deep in this process. So yeah, I actually like that idea of them not being together.
Cool.
Think that adds a lot more. And I don't know. What do we feel about, we talk about what that crazy thing that keeps them together is shooting someone shooting them, hitting them with their car. Like, I feel like something, we've been trying to think of what crazy thing that could be.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be something like that.
That would be kind of, okay, hold on. You said hit them with their car.
Yeah.
That would be kind of funny. Like, if she gets pissed off a little about what he did or something like that, then put something back, and she's just like, she's about to leave for work. And she just rubs up, hits him.
Yeah, I hate flashbacks, but I would do that one in a heartbeat. I'll be real.
That would be a funny one. Or let's see, nah, I can't.
He's on to something. Let's go.
I was gonna bring up cocaine. Like, she's a good woman. She has, she brings in money to the house.
That's hilarious.
The sugar bags, I tried to pour a cup of sugar and I ended up pouring cocaine in my coffee.
Woo! All right, what are we looking at now? So we haven't really explored fireworks, Taylor.
Yeah.
She's really young.
Mm-hmm.
So, her mother obviously isn't the greatest mother as far as support and just care and things like that, or even knowing what to do.
Yeah.
So I think Marcellus has probably taken the brunt of the work in that, because I think her mother is just flustered.
Gotcha.
We talked about her kind of coming into the cookout with crazy hair, and all the family members being like, "Who did her hair?" And like, "Marcellus, come let us fix that." And she just, it looks a mess because this mother doesn't really know what she's doing.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like she's just like, I mean, it's like when you're young, you're kind of like accepting of everyone and everything. Like, she doesn't see the son of Marcellus as her stepbrother. She just views him as her brother.
Yeah.
It's like, I think she would just be excited just to have like a sibling. You always have that person that like follows you around and wants to do what you do. And I imagine she'd be like that kind of person.
Which we talked about what his response to her would be.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see if we did go the route of him not liking her kind of forcing herself on him regardless. Could be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay. And then I guess you even pointed out how like they both have similarities. Like you think about the fact that you mentioned like the son of Marcellus has a mom but doesn't have a dad.
Yeah.
Fireworks Taylor has a dad and she has a mom, but her mom isn't like there that often. So it's like they have the whole thing where it's just like I kind of got one parent really.
Yeah.
So it's like even having that relation, she may not voice it as that because she's 8, but she feels it.
No, I feel you.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we have good idea of like Marcellus's like little family dynamic going on here.
Yeah, for today we can leave that where it is. Let's jump into speaking about June's first daughter.
Yep.
Helena. We haven't really, so we've developed her children. Mm-hmm. However, we never developed her or her husband, or kind of what role they're playing in the story. At the moment, they're kind of just there because we need them there for their children to exist. Because Benji, their child, is our main protagonist.
Yeah.
And we kind of have figured out his personality. He's an entrepreneur. He's out here selling his organic body soaps. And he's kind of, we've actually followed this story of him trying to reconnect with a childhood crush, or kind of more so an old flame, we should say. And he keeps jumping in time trying to kind of win her over. So his plans are more than just getting a to-go plate. Yeah. It kind of goes a step further. And we have his 2 parents who are at the cookout, and I don't think we've really developed them as much as we have him.
Yeah, not too much. I know for the most part, I'm always going to almost say Helena, but Helena,
like I said, it can be Helena. I think that's a weird name. I haven't ever heard that name before.
I think it's just the way I'm pronouncing it. Yeah.
I mean, we spelled. Where it's
coming from.
You came up with the name.
I know.
And you spelled it Helena.
I did.
So then you said Helena. I didn't have an issue with it. I was just like, man, that's not what you spelled.
I know, but it's
so we can change it. But yeah. I'm letting you know what you wrote.
Inside my head, I was like, Helena. I don't know what the switch was for me.
The spelling, that was the switch. You just read it right. I don't know.
But anyway, Helena is the oldest, like you said, the first sister of June Kersey. And being the oldest and with her dad leaving out on them, she felt like she had to be the parent of the family. She felt like she had to be that extra person that had to keep everything together and keep everybody on a tight schedule, so that when mom came back home, everything was cool, everything was tight. So she felt like she had to get her life together to help serve everybody else. We talked about her brother Clyde as well.
Pretty much we spoke of there's some earlier things that will take place in the story that make Clyde not necessarily connect with his grandmother or his mother as much.
Yeah.
So because of that, he was kind of out of the household. He wasn't around as much. He was very independent and out there.
Yeah.
And we talked about how that would affect. You made me want to say Helena, how that would affect Helena, being kind of left alone and having to be the next oldest in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we do kind of know that would make her kind of more the in charge one and things like that. We have a serious portion to each of our characters.
Yeah.
That's really like, oh wow, that's actually I don't want to say profound, but I guess in a way that's a thought-provoking character. But then each of them also have a part or side of them, at least to me, that is hilarious. Maybe I'll figure out I'm not as funny as I think I am, but at least for now, it's hilarious. So I don't think right now, I think we kind of have a more serious take on her. Mm-hmm. We haven't necessarily come up with how that interacts with the other people at the cookout.
Yeah.
But we are 100% missing that comedic touch of like what's off about her personality. Helena's boring right now.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
We gotta fix that.
Got you. So I guess let me think. She's like the over scheduler, or maybe it doesn't even have to. Her problem doesn't even have to be like scheduling. It could be something completely different, like a habit that she's just developed that just kind of like.
Yeah, but what is the habit, Matt?
I don't know.
What is the habit? That's what we're coming up with. Well, she has 3 sisters. Think about it. So she has 2 sisters, and then there's another female there.
Yeah.
So that's probably who she'll be interacting with. Who we need her to be will be based off of what we've already come up with the other 2 aunts, I think.
I got you.
Because we need a nice contrasting character.
Yeah.
Because we know Flo is kind of the crazier, more out there aunt. Mm-hmm. She's kind of wild and insane.
We've made her the fun aunt, basically. Whoop.
P. Gates said, "I'm so proud of y'all getting this podcast going. Let me know if I can help y'all in any way. Other than that, I'll be plugged in. So dope."
Thank you, Paulette. Appreciate that.
Shout out P. Gates. We talked about her a little. Yeah. But just so you guys know, P. Gates?
She's the best producer and cook ever.
Oh, yo. I won't even gonna talk about your cooking, but since we brought that up, I ain't ever had lunch like that on a film set. Those meals were, gracious. When I say it was like, we were at a 5-star restaurant and she was just chefing it up. Man,
my goodness.
P. Gates.
And you go back and look at the budget for it and you're like, how much did we spend?
She ain't spend nothing. I don't know how she did it.
Like, what?
Yo, she was feeding an entire
army.
Yeah,
like, legit.
With nothing. I was like, yo, P. Gates.
What's
yo,
up?
This look good. Like, this look, ooh, scrumptious.
Well, thank you.
But this is what I said in my head. I said, damn, P. Gates, we only raised $2,000. Like, but then I looked at the budget, and when I say she ain't spend a dime, I don't know where she be shopping or how she fed us. Actually, I do because I got the receipts. Yeah. But yo, P. Gates do it right. Get you a P. Gates because you need a well-fed crew. If there's something you can't skimp on, it's food. And we probably made a mistake by having P. Gates be our cook on that last project because we can never go back. So it's just like
there's too much expectation now.
There's expectations, but also we've been spoiled.
Yeah,
so
no.
I feel like net set we need like lobster and some other things because like
you can only go up.
Yeah, she fed us well, so no going back.
Yeah, no going back at all. Because it's just like I know when we first started, we used to just do pizza, stuff like that, just to feed people because it's easy. It's like it feels cost efficient, but it's just like you want to make sure your crew isn't sluggish. Once they eat it, it's like I got more energy to film for you instead of being like, "Dad, I can't believe we had Domino's."
Don't do it. Also, don't have your crew come in at like 11 a.m. and then feed them lunch at 12 p.m. Because then they got nothing to look forward to the whole rest of the set. Yo, once we had lunch, I was like, dang.
Is this over yet?
What's there to look forward to? And they were like, rap. I was like, oh, damn. Okay.
Oh, man, I can't believe you brought that up.
I was like, dang, my food going to digest in a good 4 or 5 hours. I'm going to have to poop.
I know, right? Yeah.
I ain't going to be able to take no break.
Oh, my goodness. But if you do call your crew early and you know you're keeping them for a long time, give them breakfast. Make them feel good. You know, it don't have to be anything big. She did breakfast.
P. Gates fed us breakfast.
Yeah.
P. Gates fed us breakfast, lunch. Had some dope crafties out there. She was sneaking desserts on set. And then let me tell you, we had to-go plates.
Yeah.
You always left with like 2 to-go plates. Not only did she feed all of our crew on the cheapest budget I've ever seen, and our fridge at the end of the film weeks were filled with food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I think we still had leftover food afterwards. She was like, someone come to my house and take it. Yo, P. Gates does it right.
P. Cap does.
Yo, I should get that tatted on me.
P. Gates.
So shout out to P. Gates. This episode is for you.
She can make sushi now. That's another thing.
P. Gates make sushi?
Yeah. She did put that on her post on her Instagram.
Oh, I don't really. Yeah.
She also told us in person because I pay attention to P. Gates.
She never told us that in person. Stop
She did.
Nah.
When we went for her birthday to go to the aquarium.
She told us where? At the aquarium?
Yeah.
She told us she made sushi at the aquarium.
Yeah.
I guess that would make sense. That
Be a reasonable
place.
place.
She made sushi at the aquarium. So I was going to say you were lying, but you know what? That kind of fits.
Yeah. I know.
And she told the group that?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yep.
That was just
showed us the post.
Conversation. She showed us the Instagram post.
Yep.
Her own Instagram post.
Yeah.
No, she didn't, because that's vain.
No, she did. What are you talking
She said, look
about?
at what I posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
Why would she do that?
Because she wanted us to see what she did.
If we didn't care what she posted on Instagram before we got there, I would have cared what she posted on Instagram once we got there. P. Gates, if I didn't realize that you did that in the moment, I want to let you know now you were tripping.
You see how crazy it is? He's rock with people, and then the next minute. Oh my God. I'm sorry, P. Gates. We still love you. I still love you.
No, don't do that. I don't know. The creative juices might have left.
Yeah, I think this is like one of those periods when we usually do this stuff. We're not doing a podcast, and so we don't feel like the obligation to talk. So it usually does sound like this. It's quiet. Hey, I got an idea. You know what such and such to do? And the other one will be like, you know, that's a good idea. Or just like, yeah.
I truly think this is helping because it's there's moments where it keeps us talking.
Yeah.
Like, and even in explaining dynamics we've already set up to listeners, that helps you kind of grab ideas because you're kind of re-explaining or talking it out or speaking it out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times when we're in our creative meetings pitching and going back and forth stuff, because there's times where we do talk like this and we're just bouncing off each other back and forth. But then there's times where we can get too quiet.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And I feel like it completely stops propelling us.
Yeah.
Until one of us has an idea we can jump off of. Being kind of here helps us continue to even force bad ideas out or like, you know, just maybe this, that, or the other. And like today, we've been all hits.
Yeah.
Yo, we've been on fire. We've been hitting like the ideas have been like on point. Like, yo, that's actually pretty good. Oh, yo, that works. Oh, yo, that, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not always like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times a lot of, you know, bad ideas. Like, y'all, I think y'all are seeing us work together really well right now. And it's not always like that.
Yeah. Do you think like I guess do you think meetings should be like this more often, where it's just like, let's say it was without the podcast, do you think people should just like, it's just like keep talking and get those bad ideas out?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it should be that.
Yeah.
And I think we do that some days.
Yeah.
But then I think there's other days where we're just fall into the silence.
Yeah.
So I think, what I'm saying is I think this is helping, and we need to work on
doing that more.
Constantly throwing those ideas out there and bouncing off of each other.
Mm-hmm. It's like improv almost. You keep going and jumping off something until like something lands.
And even with that, we need to be more aware that if someone gives a bad idea, how we're approaching that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you ever should just shoot down an idea without adding another idea.
Yeah, exactly. The more you take away, the less you have.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying that because I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'm very much quick to be like, I don't like that, or no, we're not doing that, or like, yeah, no. Like, that's me. I'm going to be honest. And I got to work on it where I'm like, hey, let's do this instead. Or this is why that wouldn't work. And I think I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I do think I do this is why this wouldn't work. But at the same time, I can be very much like,
nah. If
an idea doesn't hit with me, I'm instantly like, no.
Yeah.
Nah, let's find something else. And I don't add anything to the conversation other than the no.
Yeah.
So in a sense, this is me coming out and saying one of my flaws. I think I add to that atmosphere of wanting to fall into the silence.
I got
sometimes.
Yeah.
Because ideas and things like that may not be as freely accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys may be like, oh, dang, that may not be a good idea. Or, oh, yeah, I may not want to put that out there, you know?
Yeah.
So that's on me. But I think, like, this speaking everything out does help in a lot of ways. And like I said, today we've been on. We really have. I think every idea we've been like, that works or that doesn't or anything like that. Or if it was a bad idea, because the cameras are on, I was a little bit nicer. And I was, no, just kidding. I was like, yeah, that could work. But, it definitely, it's a different environment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just remember to keep shouting out ideas if you have a group or anything like that, and keep rolling with them until you get something that you're like, yeah, this works. Because the ideas come from the most randomest of places, as we just explained where this idea came from, and then how it leveled up and got to something else than just being just a comedy.
They do. And I think there's a lot of things I learn every day about how to be creative and how to make these ideas flow and things like that. And something I'm learning is everyone's process is completely different.
Yeah.
Like, you can't look at ours and, like, mirror it and copy it exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, saying that, something I've learned about my process, and I learn more and more and more, is obviously you need to set aside time to make stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you wait to be inspired, you will be waiting for I'm not going to say forever, but you will be waiting for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
Creativity is a muscle you can work. It's something you can train. It's something you can set times aside and be creative in those times. And that's the only, if you're pursuing anything more than a hobby, you have to do that. It's not going to come if you're just waiting for the great idea or inspiration.
Yeah.
But saying that, even setting aside times and stuff like that, I've come to realize there will come moments that you have to step away and say, all right, that's all I got today, you know? Mm-hmm. And I say all that to say, I think that's all I got for today. And I think I'm okay saying that. And we also, look, we did work for a good portion of time. Yeah, we were talking about other things as well, but I think we knocked out a good 5 characters. We figured out some more dynamics and things like that.
Yep.
And this story's going to keep progressing, and we're attacking it a little bit every day. So that's what I got.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel.
I feel
if you can inspire me or spark me, or I don't know, we can keep going. But how you feel? Where you at?
I feel like there are moments where I have to walk away, and this might be one of them. I'm okay with what I got today.
And I mean, even we'll walk away, and then 2 hours later, he'll call and be like, "Yo, I got it," or you know. So it's like, this may not even mean we're done for today, but at least in this moment,
give your brain a rest. Sometimes don't take too long. As you said, work it out.
Definitely. Yo, we appreciate you tuning in, watching an episode of the Kickphase podcast, Road to our first feature film. We appreciate you rocking with us. We rock with you guys. So feel free to like, comment, subscribe, wherever this is. Just keep up with us, follow us. Let us know what you think. If you like this, what you guys want to hear. And we love to hear it. We love the feedback.
Yeah. Love y'all. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Helena. Yeah. All right.